Hi, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about grinding wheel maintenance and what I use to keep a nice clean and flat edge on the face of my grinding wheel. So, let's go ahead and get started. This is my 8-inch low-speed bench grinder that I use for sharpening up my wood turning tools, and the two wheels on it are white aluminum oxide 1x8 grinding wheels. This one is 60 grit and this one is 120 grit. Now, no matter what grinding wheel you have, they're all going to eventually get gunked up with metal in them, and that's not good because then you begin to start burning away metal when you grind it rather than cut it. I use just a standard grinding wheel dresser like this one to clean up the surface of the wheel and to give me a nice fresh face. Now, had I spent another couple minutes with this wheel dresser, all the metal would have been cleaned off of the wheel and I would have had a nice fresh surface, but I stopped short. Now, you can get away with these wheel dressers for a little bit, and these are only good for quick fixes to the grinding wheel, just to clean it every now and then. But eventually, what will happen is your wheel will start getting out of round and it won't be balanced. Now, you'll know this right away when you try to take a wood turning chisel to this thing, because the chisel will sort of bounce off of it and it'll be really hard to keep it onto the wheel because it'll chatter a lot. Now, that is because you come across a hard spot in the grinding wheel there, and the wheel dresser will just bounce off the hard spot each time it touches it, and then it'll continue on cutting away at the regular grinding wheel. So every time you come across that hard spot, it's just going to bounce away, and it's going to leave a high spot in the wheel, and that is what the chisel will bounce off of. Now, this bench grinder is equipped with the Wolverine system, and one way also offers this little jig here for the Wolverine jig. This is the one-way diamond dressing jig, and this allows you to easily dress wheels and get a nice flat surface on them. This jig is a single-point diamond held in an adjustable arm which could be moved across the face of the wheel, producing a wheel face that is clean and flat. And the jig can also be adjusted in or out to take a heavy-duty cut or cuts as light as 0.003 of an inch. You can see how this jig works just by this threaded nod that's inside this piece here. That goes into a hole here, and by tightening this, you're pushing this part of this piece over, therefore pushing the diamond tip into the wheel, and by loosening it, you're pulling the diamond tip away from the wheel. So all you do to set this up is see where it's going to touch the wheel, and it touches just a little bit on this side, so I'm just going to loosen it a little bit just so I can take some nice light cuts. I have the jig set just to barely scratch the surface of the wheel in that one spot, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on the bench grinder. Alright, so I'm just going to run it over the wheel, and you can see there it just removes that little bit of a material. Alright, now all the material on that high spot is gone just from where I adjusted the jig to be, so I'm just going to turn this knob in just a little bit more, and we'll go ahead and remove more material. I just did a fantastic job on that wheel, so now I'll go ahead and take this out of the one side, and I'll put it in the other and dress up this other wheel. Now let me show you how easy it is to work with a properly dressed wheel.